morning to you, and thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. Glad to have you join us. Let's begin the conversation. Are you aware of the palliative that Chief Chikwe Udensi intends to give your members in the state?
Yes, the union had the information on the 13th of October this year. 3 young men came to our office and informed us that a philanthropist wanted to give a pensioners palliative.
Okay.
We welcomed them, but after their talks, I asked them who that person is. None of them told us the name of the person. And I also asked them, which party do you belong? I asked 3 of them. They said no party, no party, no party. Well, we started to believe that it must be a philanthropist indeed. Then they requested for the list of pensioners in Abia State. And the secretary made them to know that it was not all that possible to give them the list as requested. And that before that is done, there must be a state council of the union. State council is representatives from all the 22 branches of the union, chairman and secretaries. That is the highest organ of the union. And whatever decision they take, then the ESCO will work on that. So what the union did was to give them, because they demanded the population, the secretary gave them about 18,000 pensioners, and that the government spends about 950 million monthly on payment of pensions. That they took it away. Then, surprisingly, after 2 weeks or so, pensioners started calling us, asking us whether we were aware of the proposed palliative to pensioners of Abia State. We could not answer anything because it was a big surprise to us that what we discussed with 3 young men had gone to the branches. Then we kept quiet watching until pensioners started to complain. In fact, one woman had an accident when she was to go to exact 98 Macaulay Street or 89, whichever. And the union got worried. That made us to convene emergency council of chairmen of all the branches. And I think that was on the 11th. We brought the matter before them. They themselves were aware of what was going on, because they are at the branches, and the men in question went to those branches to collect names. So many of them rejected. They said no, they will not until they hear from their union. So that's how we saw it. And
Okay.
with the 18,000 pensioners, about 18,000 given to them, and the 950 million naira per month given to them, nothing was heard about it. I'm sure they did nothing with it.
Chief, let's look at the nitty-gritty of these issues. There are insinuations and allegations against you in person that the state government tried frustrating the release of the pensioners list using you as a person. I don't know how you want to react to that also, Chief.
Even since that day, my eyes have not seen any government official than to talk of going to any of their offices. We are rather annoyed that Wednesday last week, the Commissioner for Finance promised paying pensions. And from that Wednesday to this last Thursday, he promised, no, Wednesday, week before last, he told us he would pay between Wednesday, week before last, and this last Thursday. No payment was done. We got annoyed, and I called him personally and said, Mr. Commissioner, why have you disappointed us? In fact, he was very sorry and begged that in the next 1 or 2 days that he would start payment. That was the only communication I had with any government official.
Why is it difficult for Sir Chikwe Udensi getting the pensioners list? Because we spoke with him earlier and he said there are hiccups, there are issues, especially with the NUP Abia State Council, that there are issues and they are trying to frustrate. Okay, what is the problem?
There are no issues. We cannot frustrate it, since it is going to give succor to our pensioners, because we know that we are all suffering. I'm a pensioner. We are all suffering. So any man, any woman, any organization that has the heart to give to help pensioners, I as an individual must not be against it. The union must not be against it.
So why is this one making so much noise in the media, talking about the issue of releasing the list? It is not being released, it has not been released, and the back and forth between the philanthropist and the NUP in Abia State?
What made it so is the type of people that came to our office. We know them as dangerous politicians who can spoil things, issues. That is just that. We know them. If they had come back to the office and discussed second time with us, such issues shouldn't have been escalated. It could have been done in a very peaceful and gentle manner.
Let's try understand this. Are there processes to be followed if palliatives are to be given to pensioners in the state? Maybe you should let us into some of those processes so that we have an idea of where they got it wrong.
The process is as simple as ABC.
Okay.
The process is that if the man that proposed the palliative had come to the office and said, please, I want to do this, then the only thing we do in order to avoid scandal, to avoid looting, to avoid anything bad that would come out of it, we invite the branch chairmen and secretaries and said, these are the materials brought by such a person. They themselves will stay in the office and the sharing will be done equally.
Okay, in a situation, it is a financial. In a situation, just a moment, Chief. In a situation, the palliative is a financial assistance. What do you do in such a situation where numbers are to be provided? I mean, bank accounts are to be provided. What do you do? How do you get that? Do you have the list of the pensioners in the state and with their bank accounts?
Definitely, the office has the list of pensioners of Abia State. Because recently, March this year, we did a sort of a verification. The union did a sort of verification by herself. So, let me give you an instance. Okay. In 2018, the governor brought some bags of rice. It was not less than 200 bags of rice and some cash. I, as the chairman or vice chairman that time, even my chairman who is now late, and the members of the executive, we are only watching when the branch chairmen and secretaries were doing the sharing. Okay. We don't involve ourselves in that. So I am talking of whether cash or kind. The branch chairmen and secretaries will do the sharing themselves so that nobody will feel cheated.
Okay, great. So how can we find a lasting solution to this hiccup right now? Because the philanthropist is insisting that he's going ahead. So how can you make it smooth for the pensioners? Because you've accepted that the pensioners in Abia State are suffering from non-payment of their pensions in the state. So how can we find a lasting solution? Are you ready? Is the union ready to give the list to the philanthropist for the needful to be done?
If he comes to the office, we will definitely sort it out. And we must invite our branch chairman, if not other people. Because we don't do things for our selfish interest. We don't do that at all. Because we are all old men and the women.
Okay. And just before I let you go, Chief, this morning, the issues on ground now, does it has anything to do with him being a member of the All Progressive Grand Alliance in Abia State? I mean, Sir Chikwe Udensi.
You mean Chief Udensi?
Yes.
His errand men did not tell us that he belonged to any party. They didn't inform us that he is of the APGA. It was after 2 days he was being interviewed, I think at the Family Love FM, that I listened to him and recognized that sometimes he made attempts to run for governorship race.
Okay.
Whatever he's doing, in fact, we don't look at it from the political aspect of it.
Okay.
Rather, from a philanthropist that wants to help pensioners. Pensioners have heard it, and anyone stopping any palliative, even if it means 2,000 naira to them, that person will see his eyes.
Okay.
Yes.
As NUP, I mean, you're heading that union. You are heading the union in Abia State. Is the organization partisan? Some sort of priority to maybe a particular political party?
It is not partisan whatsoever. It is not partisan. And if Udensi is trying to use the union to build his political road, well, that might also give us another thought.
Okay. Anyways, I want to appreciate you this morning, Chief John Ekwendo, the acting chairman of the Nigerian Union of Pensioners, Abia State Council. Thank you very much for speaking to us this morning on the platform. We do appreciate you.